Hey girl, hey, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Misha. Thank you guys for joining me yet again for another review. We are back with a brand new review of Family or Fiance, Season 2, Episode 17, Candice and Kouri. Player interrupted. If you are new here, then welcome. I give lighthearted reviews with a little bit of laughter and a little bit of shade and a whole lot of detail. If you are back for a second or third time, then welcome back. Please don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you get anything out of the content. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so that you will be updated each and every time I upload a video. Now, child, let's get into it if we gonna get into it. When the episode first opens up, we are introduced to Candice and Kouri. They met 5 years ago through some mutual friends, and he cheated, and she's trying to rebuild her trust in him. So they get to the house, they take the MTV Cribs tour and retire to the quarters to meet with Tracy. So they tell her, they've been engaged for a year, they met through friends, but he wasn't a relationship guy. Translation. He had a bevy of women. Shout out to Issa Rae. Like, he didn't know how to act, okay? So he was still out there in the beginning, but she was very monogamous because she felt like they could show her son what a real family looks like. So Tracy asked about the engagement. She said, I wasn't expecting it, but I was happy because it meant that he chose me. Okay, Candice, I really hate to break it to you, but you need to choose you first before he chooses you. And just because you get a ring, honey, the ring didn't mean a thing. Shout out to Kim Zolciak. Like, I want you to want you first. Because as the episode progressed, I saw that she was hanging on this ring as though it was a symbol of him walking the straight line. And honey, if I'm being honest, I didn't see it. But y'all, we're going to get into it as we get into it. So then Tracy asked him about the little bump in the road. She's like, it was infidelity. The most hurtful thing was that it was with someone that lasted for years, like through the engagement, before the engagement, during the engagement. Girl, it's a relationship at this point. Like, what is happening? You need to let him go because that behavior more often than not continues into the marriage. I know from personal experience. Okay, I was Candice. I was like, you know what? He did a little dirt before the engagement, but now he gonna be all right because we're getting married. Absolutely not. Okay, now I don't want that for you. I'm just saying personal experience has shown that things don't just change like that overnight. Now you're legally bound to this person. It's so much harder to let them go. Honey, you got to go through the court system, and God forbid you have a child. Honey, that's a whole nother can of worms. Moving forward. So Tracy asked him if he was in a relationship with someone else, why did he feel like that was a good time to propose? Because she found out and he didn't want her to leave. That is why he felt like it was a good time to propose. So he said, because she's who I want. So Tracy asked if they ended it, and he said, yeah. Child, he's going to be right back over there. I'm sure of it, okay? And the entire time this episode was going on, this poor lady was crying from the time she sat down until the time that they made the decisions. I'm like, girl, them little wet eyes. At one point, she fell asleep. You know how when you get a good cry, you fall asleep? Because, them eyes are so heavy. The eyes are like, girl, just go and lay it down. And that's what was happening with poor Candice. Oh, child, it's a fool. Candice is afraid he'll reach back out when things happen between the two of them. Listen, this isn't a heartfelt proposal. This is a ploy to get her to stay put. Candice, do not allow him to sit you down with this ring, girl. He wants you and the single life. Allow yourself to want better. You seem like a sweet lady. He ain't it. That's just my opinion, okay? Now, y'all might watch the show and see something totally different, but in my opinion, he ain't it. So they asked him if he's going to reach back out at some point. Charlie couldn't even answer. See? No way, Jose. It is no way I'm going to sit around while you hem and haw at the question when they ask you if you're going to reach back out to her. The fact that he couldn't answer, I would have gotten up and walked out. I would have been like, you know what? Not about to let you make a fool of me on national TV. I'm good. Please de-mic me, honey. Take this mic off. I got to go. So Tracy asked who was coming for them. For him, it's going to be his mom, his sister, and his cousin. His cousin wants him to open up and communicate. And I liked that cousin. I really did. And his mom feels Candice is the reason he's not spending time with her. Well, Charlie can't cheat if he run into his mama house. Honey, that's not going to work. On her side, her mom is coming, her brother, and her best friend. Her mom is concerned about their relationship. So Tracy gives them their task. Y'all know what it is. Same task, different episode. Moving forward. So her family arrives first. Then his family arrives. And child, his mama almost took a nosedive. Child, she couldn't quite operate the seatbelt. I said, oh, honey, please don't let this woman fall out on this ground, honey. I am not in the mood for this screen to go black, child. This is a mess. So they all go into the common area to voice their concerns. So her best friend's concerns were the infidelity. And well, child, they didn't want that to come out. They were like, oh my gosh. Because I'm guessing her mom didn't know. Well, honey, it seems that the entire group of people that they brought there had no idea that it was cheatation happening within the relationship. Child, when the best friend said that, her mom's whole demeanor changed. I'm like, ooh, this gonna be good. Her brother's concerns are her not diminishing her standards to just being something, and also him building a stronger relationship with her son. Her mom's concerns, and they probably changed after hearing of this cheating, but hers are that his relationship with her son gets better. So his cousin's concerns are the communication. He feels like she just needs to demand more of what she wants and what she needs. His concerns are him being actually ready to settle down. His mom's concerned about the disconnect in their relationship. And so Kouri tells them about the task, and then they separate because y'all know how they do. It's time for the questions. Outside with her family, he's listing things in order of importance. The first thing he listed was family because he didn't grow up with a father or family unit. So her friend asked what he would do to make Candice's son feel like he's a father figure. He said, I just need to step up more, but he's not mine, so I don't want him to resent me. And that can be a fine line because it's like you want to be the authoritative figure, but at the same time, you don't want to cross boundaries. And so it kind of gets sticky when it comes to those types of things. So I understood him a little bit in that respect because you want her son to respect you, but at the same time, you don't want to hear, you ain't my daddy. So you got to be careful, child. Because baby, these children nowadays, honey, they'll say any old thing. You know what I mean? So the first thing he listed was family. So they explained to him that he really likes him and that the son looks up to him and wants to feel like he's there for him as well as Candice. So that was kind of like a moment for him of clarity because he didn't realize that. So on the other side with his family, Candice is pulling questions out of a hat. So they asked her if she's ready to demand more from Kouri. And she said, I feel like I do, but, I don't want to seem like, basically she didn't want to seem like she was nagging. Girl, in order for this to work, you're going to have to voice your opinion. You're going to have to speak your speech, honey. You can't just sit idly by while he does what he wants to do and then you cry about it. I know eyes gonna be just as swollen on that wedding day. Child, this is a mess. So his cousin broke it down and said, look, you need to say, hey, you've been out 2 to 3 weekends in a row. You're a father now. You need to sit down somewhere. And I really like how Rolandis was level-headed, and I don't think these two are ready for this level of commitment because she's afraid to voice her needs and her concerns for fear of losing him, which she knows he takes advantage of, and he is not ready to be 100% committed to her or her son. So, I just don't see why we're here to try to get blessings. I don't see it. But, it's not me. Moving forward. So then they asked him on the other side, what's his biggest challenge? And he said him opening up. So his mom is asking why they don't come around over there with Candice. And she's like, it's awkward because the two of you aren't in the best place. And so I don't want to be in the middle of this awkwardness while the two of you are not even in a great space. Moving forward. Back over here with Kouri, he listed monogamy as number 3. A red flag. Okay. Why is it so low on the list? He doesn't see being faithful as a priority, and I don't like that, okay? That should have been tied with family, because if you don't feel like you should be faithful, then why are we even in this? Not number 3. And he's like, well, it's because I feel like you have to have some level of trust in order for, monogamy to take place. So her brother said, well, do you feel like she trusts you? He said, slightly. She did at first until I did what I did. You mean until you got caught doing what you did? You were in a full-blown second relationship. And I really don't think you planned on stopping until she found out. Child, anywho, moving forward. Back over on the other side, they asked Candice what she feels their biggest issue is. She said infidelity and, communication as well. His mom said, well, is it still infidelity? She said, I don't know for sure. Okay. If you can't answer that question, then why are you getting married? Candice, okay? You're a beautiful lady with a seemingly sweet spirit, okay? Why settle for a ring from a man that gave it to you out of panic and you don't even know if you're still being cheated on? Like, I want you to watch this episode back before next year and you decide to walk down that aisle. Like, please, just watch it back. So he's on the other side line saying the cheating happened before the engagement, but after the engagement, it was going on, but wasn't really going on. You know what I mean. Her brother was like, no, I really don't know. Baby, that brother had no idea what he was talking about. And honey, I was just as lost as he was. So her mom was like, well, has it stopped? He said, for the most part. Throw the whole man away. Throw the whole man away. For the most part, it either has ceased or it has not. Him and those baby braids are still cheating on her. And y'all can't convince me otherwise. I said what I said and I ain't changing. And if he's not, he's soon to follow suit and do the exact same thing over and over again. Child. He said when he saw how it made her feel, he cut ties. Okay, lies. Moving forward. Her mom asked, well, could he be 100% faithful? He said, yeah, I wanted to have my freedom and I still want to do my thing. Okay, he's wasting my time, okay? Because he thinks this is a game. He wants to be married, but also be able to have his side piece. And that is not how things work. So if you still want to do what you want to do, then you need to stay single. Over in the next scene with his family, Candice is telling the family about his double life. So his mom said, his dad did the same thing to me and he had a baby outside of our marriage. And I didn't want her to face the same things that I faced. Child, the apple don't fall too far from the tree. It's just amazing to me how kids mimic parts of their parents without them even being present. Like they pick up on the bad habits, the good habits, their mannerisms, all that without them even being in their lives. And that's just so crazy to me. I've always found that fascinating. But anyway, child, it's just a side note. Moving forward. So they asked him why he wants to marry Candice. He's given a bunch of generic answers. Oh, it's because I love her. Do you? Do you love her? Because I'm sort of questioning it, me, myself. In the next scene, they all sit down for dinner. You know how they like to do, the salmon, the steak, the shrimp, and all that other kind of stuff. She expresses that since doing the task, she now feels like she can share things with his family and she doesn't have to try to hold it all in because they can be her sounding board. So his mom chimes in because she told him if he wasn't ready to be faithful, don't give her that ring. So she wants to know what happened. He starts getting defensive, saying if this isn't what she wants, then she just needs to say it. This is not on her, sir, and that is not what your mom asked. Your mom asked, why did you give her that ring if you didn't think that you were ready? So his mom is like, well, why do you never come around? He said, because I feel unwanted. It's always Kouri did this and Kouri did that. No, it's not that you feel unwanted. You just don't want to be held accountable. You're childish. Child, he is childish, about as childish as them Trey Songz braids, circa 1999 or 2005 or whenever Trey Songz was rocking them braids. Shout out to Trigger Trey. Sir, you don't want people to call you on your ish. That's what it is. Okay, you want to be able to do your dirt and do whatever it is that you like to do, and you don't want nobody to say nothing about it. Okay, nothing. That's what it really is. So Candice shifts gears because, honey, she wants to make sure that she protects him at all costs to her family with him. And her mom said, I feel like it went well. They all feel like she just needs to pipe up. Girl, and speak your speech. Pipe up. I'm going to have to send you a mug, girl. I'm going to have to hit you in your DMs. Moving forward. So Candice tells him, he can't be at the gym all day and night. I need you to be more involved as far as with the family. He's like, if you want me to do something with the two of you, then just say that. She's like, well, I don't want it to feel forced. So then her best friend is like, well, she shouldn't always have to make the plans. So he's making excuses and putting it back on her. And her brother is like, we're talking about your task. We're not talking about putting it on you. Nobody's putting anything on you. But we're talking about the task that you did. So, child, what'd he say that for, honey? He gets snappy. He's like, I'm not trying to hear nothing you talking about. Child, so he trying to fight the brother because he's being called to the carpet. He's like, let me get up because I can't do what I want to do. I mean, you want to get buck? I mean, let me just get up from the table. I'm like, you can't do what you want to do. Which is what, baby braids? What exactly do you want to do? He's simply letting you know nobody is laying fault solely at your feet. Okay, we're just expressing what happened during the task. You don't listen to comprehend either. That's a problem. So she comes in to check on him later on that night, and he tells her he wanted to slap the piss out of her brother. Baby, I wish you would tell me you want to slap the piss out of one of my family members and they trying to back me up. Child, please, it'll be a whole different show. He said, anytime I feel like my family is getting aggressive with you, I take up for you. She said, I didn't see aggression. Everyone was just saying something to you. Does he know what aggression means? I don't think he does. Child, this is the biggest deflector and manipulator I've seen in a while. Day 2. So they go to meet with Tracy once again, and she asked how the task went. He said, nothing was left unsaid. Everything was laid out on the table. She said her task was eye-opening because it let her know she needed to speak up more about the relationship with her son. Tracy said, okay, let me stop you. I think your son is a safe space, but the bigger concern is your needs. Yes, girl. What is it that you specifically need? I can tell you right now, he's not going to fulfill any of those. But we still need to hear, what is it that you would need to stop the waterworks? Like, something is clearly wrong because you would be more happy than you would be tearful. Like, when you get engaged, it's time to start planning. You're happy. You're on cloud 9, not crying every 5 minutes. Like, this is not making any sense to me. So Tracy said, Kouri, you aren't meeting her needs. He again says she doesn't tell him what she needs. And she says, I just want him to wash the dishes. Okay, stop being afraid to voice your concerns, lady. Your son can wash the dishes. He's 12 years old. There's dishwashers. Put the dishes in the dishwasher. What relationship-wise do you need? Not the chores. What do you need? So Tracy is telling him he needs to work on being the man that he needs to be and not the little boy that he once was. So then Tracy asked about the dinner. They said it was tense. Charlie really was mild compared to others. He just tried to make something out of nothing, okay? Because the brother wasn't even really getting into it as he was getting into it with him. He just decided to jump up and start showing his ass, okay? Child, please. So she told them they need to protect their couplehood, and it's not safe. Don't let anyone come in and try to break down your couplehood. You need to protect moving forward. So then Tracy tells him that his childhood is what's causing him not to show up. She said they need to be there for each other. She's like, she's crying and you're not even putting your hand on her knee. He said, because I didn't see that growing up. I'm thinking of how to help her, but I'm not putting it into action. So she's like, look, put your hand on her leg. Okay? That is a level of intimacy. And how does that feel? He's like, that feels good, just to see her smile at the fact that I'm touching her. Tracy, let me stop you right here, honey. I hear you. Okay? But him touching her leg while she cries about him still potentially living this double life isn't going to help. Okay. Normally I'm with you, Tracy, but she needs to address why she's willing to put up with these behaviors. What in her allows her to accept little to nothing? And he needs to address why he hesitated when you asked him if he would reach back out to that ex or that other woman. That's what we need to be addressing, not him touching her leg, honey, the hem of her garment. No, we don't need to be talking about that. We need to be talking about, why do you feel like you might cheat again? And why do you feel like you want to put up with someone that might cheat again? Child, this is a fool. Moving forward. So then Tracy gives them another task. Well, Kouri. She tells Kouri he needs to meet with his mom and sister to come up with a plan to have his mom more integrated in his life. So in the next scene, he sits down with his mom and fills her in on what affected him in his childhood. And his sister said, it really hurt us hearing that you felt unwanted. His mom reassured him, look, I loved y'all. I was a single mom. I was doing it all by myself. But I don't want you to feel like you're not wanted, because that's the furthest thing from the truth. She also suggested that they get together more often to bond so he doesn't feel that way. So they get up and they hug, but me, quite frankly, I don't feel like anything was accomplished. Where's that lady that y'all bring in when it comes to the family and having separate therapy outside of Tracy? We needed her. In the next scene, after the conversation with his family, he makes a little picnic for him and Candice, and she tells him her needs. He said, I'm going to be there more, and anything that it takes, I'm going to do that. Again, I know y'all might think I'm skeptical, honey, but I'm not sold. But I hope for her, because I really like her. You know how you can just feel a person's energy through the screen? I actually feel like she's such a kindred spirit, and I feel like she's very kind, and I know she deserves much better. But for her sake, I hope that he's willing to step up and be the man and father figure that her son needs. I hope he does all of that. I really hope that I am wrong. But Candice, I'm going to need you to say exactly what it is that you need in the moment, because otherwise he's going to run all over you and your pretty curls, girl. You got to tell him what you need. Day 3. They meet with Tracy one last time, and he tells her about how his mom wasn't there, so he filled the void with other women. So then she asked about their date, and Candice was impressed, and he said it felt great because he was meeting her needs. And he was like, I just realized it was just like the simple things. Like, yeah, being present and not cheating. And she knew where you were in that moment. Like, I've been there. You feel happy in the moment because you can visibly see them. They're not out cheating. But child, then your mind wanders when they go to the restroom with their phone, when they sit at a dinner table with you and the phone is face down. Honey, this will forever be turmoil. I'm just saying, child. So Tracy said, I feel like you two have done amazing work. Okay, it's time for the blessing ceremony. So her best friend said, when I first got here, there were some iffy moments, but I noticed the change in you. So I'm going to give you my blessing. Child. Her brother said, as the days go by, I noticed them going on the journey of growth. But I need to know, Candice, are you happy? Brother, you asking her if she's happy lets me know that you don't want to fully give the blessing. Brother, stand firm in your convictions. But, he loves his sister, so they have his blessing. Her mom said at first, I thought it was just about the son and him being closer to your son. But then I found out about the cheating. And I saw that he's willing to make some changes, so yes. Oh, child. Over on his side, his cousin said, I saw some growth in you. I didn't know about the infidelity, and that kind of did something to me. Landis is really a stand-up guy. Ladies, if y'all single, honey, y'all might want to reach out to Landis. He know how to treat a woman. He said, after seeing what you guys have been doing and seeing the growth, I'm going to have to give you a yes. His sister Jennifer said she knows his past, so she was kind of questioning whether or not he was ready for marriage, since he's still not ready for marriage. But honey, go on ahead and give him the blessing, because that's what you gonna do. She said she saw some changes, so her answer is yes. His mom said at first, I had already walked in here with yes in mind. But after things took place and I found out what was happening, I took it back. But then, me and you, we worked on our disconnect, so now the answer is yes. Mama. So you said yes because you feel like him and you are back on track? Child, throw the whole episode away. Child, let's get into it if we gonna get into it so we can get to the update. So then Candice announces that they will be getting married next year after everyone else gave their blessings. They go outside and they take a picture. Family or fiance? And that is the end of the episode. And the update reads, they are spending more time with her son and with each other. He's playing more of a father role. Kouri's relationship with his mother continues to improve, while Candice's trust in Kouri is still a work in progress. They're planning a wedding and planning to expand their family. Candice, a word of advice before I end this review. Please hold off on the babies until the two of you are truly in a solid place. And you need to speak to someone and ask them what it is that they can tap into that will allow your self-esteem to take precedent in the relationship. Because, honey, we need some work. But, child, good luck and Godspeed. And, child, that was the end of the episode. Y'all let me know exactly how you felt about this episode. I was able to get this review out to you earlier because the episode was shown on the YouTube of it all. Don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. I will see y'all for Love and Marriage Huntsville. And as always, stay safe, stay blessed, spread love, not germs. Peace.